On a warm summer morning in 1518, the city of Strasbourg, then part of the Holy Roman Empire, was as peaceful as ever. Merchants were setting up their market stalls along the narrow cobblestone streets. Children played happily in the town squares, and the sound of church bells echoed throughout the city. No one realized that, within just a few minutes, an event would begin that would be remembered for centuries as one of history's strangest mysteries. At that moment, a woman named Frau Troffea quietly stepped out of her home. She stopped in the middle of the city and began to dance. There was no music, no celebration, no festival. She simply danced. At first, people assumed it was nothing more than a brief moment of strange behavior. Surely she would stop in a few minutes. But the minutes passed, then the hours, and Frau Troffea was still dancing. Even after darkness fell, her feet never stopped moving. When the next morning arrived, she was still dancing. At the time, no one understood what it meant. But for Strasbourg, its most terrifying days were only just beginning. As the days went by, the situation became even more disturbing. Before long, other people began dancing as well. At first, there were only a few. Soon, the number grew to a dozen. And before long, dozens became hundreds. The streets of Strasbourg were soon filled with exhausted men and women who simply couldn't stop moving. Some stared into the distance with blank expressions, yet their bodies kept dancing. Others cried out in pain while their feet continued moving against their will. Families desperately tried to pull their loved ones away, but nothing worked. Fear spread rapidly throughout the city. No one could understand what was happening. Doctors searched desperately for an explanation. Priests urged the people to pray. Rumors spread that God was punishing the city. Yet the dancers continued day after day. Meanwhile, the city officials grew increasingly desperate. Then, they made a decision that seems almost impossible to believe today. Instead of trying to stop the dancers, they encouraged them to keep dancing. Believing the illness could only leave the body through movement, wooden stages were built across the city squares. Professional musicians were hired. Crowds gathered to watch. But the plan failed completely. The music cured no one. Instead, even more people began dancing, and even more collapsed from complete exhaustion. Days of non-stop dancing pushed the human body far beyond its natural limits. Many people collapsed from extreme exhaustion. Some historical accounts suggest that the constant physical strain may have led to heart problems, strokes, or other serious medical complications. Exactly how many people died remains unknown. The historical record contains many gaps, and some stories may have become exaggerated over time. But historians agree on one thing: the event truly happened. As panic spread throughout the city, religious leaders became convinced that the answer was spiritual rather than medical. Many of the dancers were taken to a shrine dedicated to Saint Vitus. There, prayers were offered, religious ceremonies were performed, and people hoped the mysterious affliction would finally come to an end. Gradually, the dancing stopped, but the questions never did. More than 500 years have passed, yet historians and scientists continue searching for the true cause of the outbreak. Some believe the dancers were poisoned by ergot, a fungus that grows on rye and is capable of causing hallucinations and violent muscle spasms. Others argue that it was a case of mass psychogenic illness, where extreme fear, stress, and social pressure spread throughout an entire community. Meanwhile, some researchers believe that religious beliefs and social tensions combined to trigger one of the most extraordinary psychological events in recorded history. Each theory helps explain part of the mystery, but none of them explains every detail. Today, the streets of Strasbourg are peaceful once again. Tourists now walk through the very same squares where hundreds of people once danced uncontrollably. Life has long since returned to normal. Yet one question still remains. Why did ordinary people suddenly begin to dance? And why couldn't they stop? More than 5 centuries have passed, yet the dancing plague of 1518 remains one of history's strangest, most haunting, and enduring unsolved mysteries.